Good day, YouTube. 10th of February 2019. Let's start another project because we certainly don't have enough of them half done. This is a 1970 John Deere 140H3. This is in I would say, extremely rough condition. Most people would park this out. I look at this as a challenge. So earlier today, we kind of finished up as far as we were going to go for now. The 77 John Deere 210. It now runs and drives on its own. Those videos are all posted on my YouTube channel. Please check those out. So it's time. It's high time. Had this tractor for a couple of months now, and haven't even. I know the engine's not froze. It does turn over, but is it going to run? I don't know the history behind it. You know, it's typical barn find. Been sitting. I'm guessing 30 years. I have other videos on the 69 John Deere 140H1 that I bought with this as a pair from the same collector, but don't know anything about this one. Let's just do a quick walk around. First of all, you notice the hood's trashed and the front end is missing, but did a video here 2 weeks ago where I set out on a 640-mile adventure to pick up tractor parts and tractor implements. In that run, I made a swing by a gentleman's house in Vancouver, Washington, picked up a much better hood. Still needs a little repair, but there's more left than there is on here. I have the uprights right there underneath the seat springs that go from here up. And then I bought another set with the spring mechanisms on it because I knew I was missing those components. They bolt right there where this one's busted. And then I'll use the original, they're uprights. So this is H3, so it has 3 hydraulic ports on it. 2 of them come out the front, 1 of them runs a cylinder. We're assuming is still under the tractor for a mower deck. I've been contemplating since the day I bought these as to what am I going to do. I wanted them for projects. Am I going to fix them up and sell them off? Am I going to fix them up and keep them? What am I going to do with these? Well, I think I'm going green. I think the various other brands of lawn and garden tractors that I have currently that aren't this color may go down the road and make room for green ones. I don't know. I'm just going to make the switch, I think. I just think these are pretty cool. I enjoyed getting the 140H1 running. I'm going to enjoy getting this one running and then start to bring them back to life like we did the 210. 210, of course, we had to rebuild the motor and reassemble it. It was kind of apart when I got it. So this one is pretty rough, I have to say. I don't know that anything moves. The steering moves a little bit, but all of the levers are froze. All the cables are froze. Nothing works. So it's going to be a one at a time to get things working again. But of course, first we have to get the engine to run. Oh, I have to share with you as well. You see the grill is gone. You know, that's starting to be pretty collectible, pretty pricey for the grill section from here to here. I have one. I picked that up from Scott in northern Washington. And then the piece that goes across here, the John Deere plastic with the 2 chrome headlight rings. He hooked me up with one that he had basically rebuilt with a brand new John Deere headlight rings. Have to pay up for it, but what are you going to do when there's only so many and so many people want them? It's supply and demand. I demanded one. He supplied me with one. I just supplied him with some $100 bills. This thing is missing a starter. I purchased one on the internet. It is here, so we'll be able to bolt a starter on this thing and make it go round and round. I have a brand new carburetor sitting over here on the bench, ready to bolt on. There's no sense trying to fiddle with that one. After taking the one apart on the H1, it was gone, gone, gone. So, for an absolute real reasonable price, we have a new carburetor for this thing. Let's pull this hood off here. It's just sitting here, literally keeping the rain out. I suppose I'll keep this hood as a wall hanger. Let's just set it over here so it doesn't get further destroyed. Gas tank's just sitting there. I do have straps for it. You can see this thing been sitting around a long time. She's pretty rough to say the least. But it has come to the right place. If it's going to live again, it'll be me to bring it back to life. So let's get into this thing. First thing we're going to do is we'll pop the air cleaner, get the fuel tank out of there, get the carburetor off of there. I'll probably bolt the starter on before we start putting other new parts on. Make sure this thing cranks over and doesn't make funny sounds. Of course, in the meantime, we're going to throw some juice down the cylinder. This thing's obviously been sitting for some time. Let's get some, it'll be kind of a combination of motor oil and ATF after I shoot some PB Blaster down there. So it'll just be a mixture of stuff. And we'll start looking at the points, things like that. So, all right, gang, we'll let's get into this thing. All right, gang, here's what we got done so far. We got the new starter installed. We even used new bolts for it. Got a battery put in. That's a brand new battery. It is correct for this. I bought one for the 3 tractors. Found another one that's going to fit and going to work. So I think I'm only like 1 battery short. But probably share batteries here for a little while. Made a spark plug wire. Put a new spark plug in it. Put some new temporary ends on the battery cables. We got the carburetor installed. Didn't hook up throttle or choke. Seeing how the cables were froze up anyway. I put a length of hose on so we can put some gas in it. I had to kind of rewire the solenoid just a little bit. It wasn't even hooked up for whatever reason. It does work though. That's good. So we got it cranking with the key. I have power to the coil when I turn the key on. I roll the engine by hand, and I do have point closure registering at the coil. Whether everything is in good shape or not, I don't know, but we're going to try it. So I rolled it just a couple of times over, and you can see moisture here. I've sprayed just PB Blaster in the cylinder. It appears to have a head gasket out. So probably not too big of a deal. Will it run with a blown head gasket? It's probably going to be noisy, but might run. It was kind of shooting out here and here. Again, I just rolled it a couple times without fuel in it, but it did have PB Blaster in the cylinder. So I think, without checking it, I think we have spark. Let's put you safely on the stand here. I don't expect this to be a raging success because of that oil that you see coming out of the head gasket. So I'm pretty sure that's what got this one parked. But it's always got to be something, right? So let's fill the carburetor with gas. Fill her up. There we go. Give it a moment. And stand clear. I guess we'll do choke. What's the throttle at? Down. It's got oil in it. Checked it. Sturdy, but it's full. Okay, cover your ears. Noise alert. Wow. Look at that. She fired right up. How about choke off? Wow, that thing is just shooting out. I wonder if that head's even tight. Let's run around it with a ratchet. It's making all kinds of racket. Starter sounds different, doesn't it? There's my ratchet. Should be an easier and less expensive head gasket to get than the one for the Cushman. $27 for a head gasket, my goodness. I saw paper coming out of here. It's tight. So maybe that one. Well, try again. It was getting fuel. Let's just crank on it. Choke off. Let me get a screwdriver and throttle up. I'm going to open the door so I don't die. It looks like she's going to run. But she's going to smoke. I threw a lot of stuff down that cylinder. Still like 30 degrees outside, so I've been trying to conserve the heat. I'm going to just jack the idle up a bit. There we go. Alright, try again. Let's top the fuel off here. I burped. Okay. Started easier than I thought it was gonna. No choke. Wow, that's a noisy son of a gun. I still think I want to run it. Wait. Well, that's probably good enough for today. But that gasket is gone. But it runs. It was just pushing stuff out everywhere. Look at that. So, I think she's going to be a good runner, but we got to get the head off of there and get a gasket coming. Let's, of course, you always risk the old head bolt breakage, right? I think I'm going to start off with my little impact wrench. Let's go ahead and pull that off. We'll just keep camera rolling. So I can go online tonight, get the head gasket coming. Might as well get a couple of them. Just like I had that spark plug here because I never buy one. So I didn't have to run to town and buy both carburetors at the same time. But just fired right up. Probably set 30 years, fired right up. Let's see. Do you think they'll come off? Maybe somebody's had it off. Success 1. Hey, it came. 3, 4, 8. There we go. Now we're cooking. Nice. Gonna need a deeper socket for that boy. 9/16 it is. That ain't it. There we go. Hey! Are you anxious to see how crappy it is? It was blowing stuff everywhere. Enough to warm it up though. Feels good though because it's 30 degrees outside. Had my shop all nice and warm all day. Survey says. Oops, there's a washer. Oh, there's a 3/8 or 7/16 over there. Hang on. We ain't done yet. Got one through the tins. Don't need to break that little one off too. Let's be careful. I don't see anything hurt. Man, I wish I had that gasket. But I don't. Alright, giving you a close-up view here. Look at that. Hey, no ring ridge. Look at that. That's if you don't understand what ring ridge is, you know, the rings aren't at the very top of that piston. They're down a little bit. So you can see where the rings stop. The piston will come all the way up to the top of the deck, but the rings are, you know, 1/8 of an inch, 3/16 down. You can tell how much wear there is in a cylinder by how much ridge is left at the top. And if you don't feel a ring ridge there with your finger, that means there's very little wear on the cylinder. So what we have here is a fairly low hour engine situation. But what we have here is a head gasket. It's just leaking everywhere. You can see it's leaking here. Now it's major. It could leak on either side. It's just a mess. So I call this a big success in that head gaskets are real easy to change. They're relatively inexpensive. We didn't break any head bolts off getting to it. This is awesome. So this is the start of the 140H3. I call it a restoration. I'm restoring it back to running operating condition. At this time, I'm not restoring it to showroom new, but I will restore it to be fully operational, do everything that it ever used to do, but without necessarily a cosmetic restoration at this time. Hey, when I retired, I reserve the right to tear this thing apart or one of the others and do a cosmetic restoration. That would be fun too, but for now we've got some stuff to put on these tractors. You saw my video, my 640 mile weekend to pick up the front end loader, the blade, the dozer blade, the rear tiller. So what's going on what? The front end loader will go on the H1. On the back of the H1 will be the rototiller. On this one will be the blade up front because it's got both sets of hydraulic ports. And for the rear, this one gets a plow, which I haven't found yet. Well, I found one, I just haven't purchased one yet. So that's where this thing is headed once we get everything done. But hey, it run. I'm gonna go online right now, get a head gasket coming. We'll clean up the head. We'll clean up the top of the block. Yeah, you can see this old girl just been leaking everywhere. Just the gasket just shot. We'll run a file over that thing, make sure it's good and flat, and we'll get this thing back together in no time. Have it running great. So, gang, appreciate you hanging with me. Appreciate you helping me get this 140H3 project started. I finished up the video on the 210 as we got it running and going under its own power today. I've moved it out. It's under the tarp there. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. But I've been so anxious to get after this one and get it going. just ecstatic that it's gonna run good and there's no major issues with it. So, all right, gang, we'll catch you guys on the next video.